Welcome back to Astrovision, Spirituality, and Tarot. As you guys can tell from the title of today's video, we are going to be going over Biggie's natal chart. If you know anything about Biggie, he is definitely a pioneer when it comes to hip-hop. He is well recognized as one of the pioneers when it comes to commercializing the gang culture and glamorizing violence through his occupation of being a hip-hop musician. And Biggie is from the East Coast. He's from New York. His original name is Christopher Wallace. That is his birth name, but his stage name is Biggie Smalls, aka Notorious B.I.G, but we're going to call him Biggie Smalls for the sake of this video. So he was born May 21st, 1972. So that's that Pluto and Virgo generation, that Uranus and Libra generation, I do believe. So, you know, around that time, these people had criminal minds. That is what was going on. And I have this information according to AstroSeek. If any of you are trying to check me in the comments, I welcome you to do so. But we are just internalizing and interpretalizing his birth chart. This is entertainment. This is all fun and joy. So anything that is said, do not take it too hard. Do not take it too literally, even though astrology is a science and it can be literal in some aspects. You know, do not take that away from the fun. Again, Biggie is born on May 21st, 1972. With him being born on the 21st of May, he is literally, you know, he could be a Gemini, he could be a Taurus. That's like dancing on that line right there. He definitely does carry some of that Taurus energy with him, even though he is a Gemini, because he's a great rapper. There's no doubting that he's a Gemini. He definitely represents that to a T, to a full, especially with him being involved in gang culture. Gemini can play a role in that, and Gemini can represent the hood. It represents your cousins, your friends, things like that, your community. So he definitely is a Gemini, but he does have that Taurus flair. You know, he's big, he likes to eat, but he also likes luxury. He likes money and material items, and that is what Taurus represents. So the number 21, that can be broken down to 3, which corresponds to Jupiter, and that could play a role with him having a large body type. You know, Jupiter deals with expansion, is ruling over Sagittarius. And that just plays a role with him being a large person, you know, being very bulky. And Taurus in general, they're very bulky too, you know, they like to eat. So yes, he's definitely a good, reputable person for that, especially because most Geminis are very linky. You know, they're very slim unless they have some aspects to their Gemini sun or wherever that Gemini is placed. Unless they have some aspects going on there to make them chunky, a lot of Geminis tend to be slim. So that's why he's a great example for that cusp. And just with that 21, that number 21 rules over Jupiter. And even the stage name Biggie Smalls is very clever. Like, that's very Gemini. You know, they're just good with the word play. They're good with the words, and they're good with the details. You know, they're able to talk about something in 50 different ways, but still make it make sense. It's still credible, it's still legible, and that is Gemini's specialty. He is a great rapper. He has Pluto and his Capricorn North Node trining his Gemini sun, and he also has Capricorn conjuncting his sun. So with those aspects alone, since Gemini rules the functionality of the brain, this can equate to him having a criminal mind and being notorious, you know, being this notorious gangster. Because Pluto and Capricorn both deal with power and notoriety, but also Capricorn represents legacy. So his North Node purpose was being fulfilled. He put in work, and with him being a Gemini sun, he loved to talk about work, he loved to talk about his career, but also with that cusp being on Taurus, that also made him a smart man when it came to the value of a dollar and talking about material items and flaunting his luxury items. He definitely valued luxury. He valued that classist type of behavior of being in the elite class. And, you know, Taurus, they definitely value their celebrity status. A lot of people that are born a Taurus, they tend to have parents that are very reputable, have highly powerful careers, and that just makes them a socialite. That puts them in those elite circles to have this classist type of behavior, have this classist type of attitude. And you really don't hear any problems about Biggie's estate or Biggie's money in the past or even in the future after him, you know, passing away and transcending. You know, you really don't hear about his daughter or his mom having any type of money issues. And that Taurus cusp really could have played a role in that. You know, a lot of Taurus people are very good with their money. They're good with the value of things. So he has a Virgo moon, and Virgo moons often have baby faces. They tend to age slowly, you know. They're very mature and they're very practical, you know. They tend to make good practical and critical decisions. Also, you know, enjoy helping women too. This is that golden child aspect, your mom's favorite or your dad's favorite, and that's because they view you as like this perfect child. Or this could be negatively aspected where you have issues with your parent to where they're trying to control your life and control every, you know, facet of your life. Virgo moon, that's just an interesting moon placement. He also has his Virgo moon trining Mercury, and this represents his flexibility with words and points to his punctuation being sharp when it comes to his flow, because in my opinion, Biggie definitely has a more interesting flow than Tupac. Tupac is more aggressive, definitely fits that gangster rap category, whereas Biggie's flow was more playful. It definitely can be commercialized. He had an interesting sound going for him. And again, with Mercury trining his Virgo moon, that just gives him that love and that passion when it came to those words and when it came to that intellect, because Virgo is naturally ruled by Mercury. So with it trining his moon, he can be a good businessman, someone that's good at managing other people's money and their possessions, but also just talking about money in general, being a financial advisor, someone who can help you hold on to your stuff so you don't lose it, someone who is probably very generous, gives out loans, and people know to pay this person back. If you owe them anything, they will take your ass to court. But then again, with that Pluto and Virgo aspect, that can point to, you know, someone being a criminal and being a smooth criminal at that. So Biggie has Mars and Venus both in Cancer, squaring his ascendant, and Pluto opposing his midheaven. So this can produce a man who wants a woman to act like his mother. This also is another indicator of him being a mother's boy or just being very tight with his parents, or it can, you know, indicate him having issues with his mother, because having Mars in Cancer can amount to a difficult relationship when it comes to your mother and displaying that affection. She might have been the tough type, you know, told you to suck it up and quit crying, you know, don't bitch around her and things like that. He could have been on either side of this energy, but I'm guessing he is more tight-knit with his mom. You don't really hear anything bad happening with him involving his family, doing his mother wrong or anything like that. You don't really hear that going on, so I'm just guessing he is probably a mama's boy, you know? With his Mars being in Cancer also squaring his ascendant, this can deal with him attracting women who are also large, because, you know, Cancer deals with fullness. And with it squaring his ascendant, I can see this playing out with him being insecure about his own body, you know? So him attracting women that he probably doesn't even want, because they may remind him of himself or they may remind him of his mom in some way, and that can produce some issues, especially with that Pluto influence being here. That can produce, you know, some jealousy, violence, manipulation tactics to gain control. That can produce destructive tendencies, and he could have just taken out a lot of the insecurities that he had out on his women. And a good example of that would have to be Little Kim. If you know anything about Little Kim, she has definitely transformed. Pluto deals with transformation, and he has Mars and Venus both in Capricorn and Pluto at that 4th degree, with this energy squaring his ascendant, opposing his midheaven. Midheaven deals with the reputation. So yes, Little Kim has definitely dampened his reputation in the department when it comes to women, because he has played a role in transforming her, you know? She has changed her look. She no longer looks the same. She was way more attractive way back then, before she touched her face. She should have never did that. She should have never did that. And I'm pretty sure she knows that or understands that, but then again, I don't know what's going on in her chart. So maybe, you know, one of these days I could check out Little Kim's chart and do a video on that. But as far as I know, yes, Biggie has played a role in transforming that woman. And, you know, we just have to take a moment of silence for her, because that just isn't right. You know what I'm saying? Like, that just isn't right, and I just don't, I'm not a violent person, you know? I just don't support that. I don't subscribe to that. And to anyone out there that's dealing with domestic abuse, just please learn to walk away, because it's not your fault, and eventually you're going to have to forgive yourself. So with that being said, yes, he definitely can be a pimp. He can be a pimp. Transforming his woman is a part of that. Or men, because I don't put anything past the Gemini. You know, y'all Geminis out there, y'all like to switch. And he has Uranus and Libra. And that does not signify someone being queer or being a part of the spectrum. But it definitely can be, you know, a little question mark. Especially with that Uranus and Libra. But this more so points to friends before lovers. You know, having Uranus and Libra, that points to, you know, you're always on the go. Uranus is unpredictable. So these people, they have to be friends with you first just because they can't guarantee you that they're going to be here tomorrow, because they're always chasing the truth. You know, they're chasing something new, something fun, and they're standing out. And having that Uranus in Libra, he could have just attracted a lot of partners that made for great friends and not lovers. And I think Little Kim, again, she did speak about them being really tight, you know, having a good union, like that was her best friend, her homie or whatever, and she was able to talk to him on that other level. You know how you talk to your friends and you're able to talk to them. I mean, I could put him on my queer list. I wouldn't even be shocked if like a founder, one of the pioneers of hip hop, was a part of the LGBT spectrum. I would not be shocked at all, because, you know, hip hop is very homophobic, but if that was a possibility, I would not be shocked at all. Like, I really wouldn't. And he has Pluto in Virgo, which I mentioned earlier. So, you know, people with that Pluto in Virgo, Will Smith has this as well. These are people who can get away with those dark crimes. You know, they can definitely keep their hands clean. They're that type of individual, and that's that energy, you know. Pluto and Virgo, that's like the type of doctor who's going to prescribe you some alternative dark taboo medicine, you know, some dark taboo remedies to help you get better, but it may not help you get better. It may transform you. It may produce other problems, and that's that Pluto and Virgo influence. And then he has Chiron and Aries, and with Chiron and Aries, that can deal with him being a victim of a shootout or just different acts of violence dealing with weapons. But again, this can determine, you know, him not being physically active, and that just deals with that Chiron being in Aries. Chiron deals with our wounds and us healing, but more so healing others and not being able to heal ourselves. He could have had like some type of medical issue or something dealing with his confidence. You know, Aries deals with confidence, to where maybe he just didn't want to work out. He couldn't lose the weight or something. And that can produce the outcome of a fat person, someone who is large and bigger. Then he has Jupiter in Capricorn. So again, that points to someone being large and bigger, but that also points to him having a larger than life legacy. That points to him being idolized, kind of like a god figure. You know, Sagittarius does represent religion and things like that. But then again, being idolized in the public on like a large, massive worldwide scale. And Jupiter is a jovial planet, so a lot of people are going to be happy when speaking about you, you know, bringing up your legacy, talking about the things that you did, your reputation. And Jupiter deals with expansion. So again, you know, just having a larger than life reputation, having a larger than life legacy, which he does, you know. He definitely is one of the pioneers of hip hop and rap, more specifically gangster rap. I would give that to Tupac and Biggie. No one else is touching them in the gangster rap category. You know, there's other categories, so I will not just say they are the face of rap and the face of hip hop. But in the past, they definitely had a lot of impact, him and Tupac alone. And, you know, stay tuned for my Tupac video. With that being said, you guys, if you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a like. If you, you know, represent the East Coast, comment down below, you know, which borough of New York you're from. If you represent the West Coast, you know, you like Tupac, shout out to the West Coast. Comment, you know, if you're from Oakland, Studio City, you know, Compton, I don't know, you know, comment where you're from. If you're interested in hip hop, you like Biggie, you like Tupac, you know, represent where you're from. And also give this video a like and subscribe, and feel free to check out some of the other videos on my channel. I know I haven't did a tarot reading in a minute. I'm going to jump back on those, get back into those, and also I should be rolling out some more birth chart readings. So stay tuned for my Tupac birth chart reading. That is the video that I should be coming at you guys next with. Stay tuned, subscribe, and hit that bell button, because I've realized, you know, that does play a role in people seeing your video. So hit the bell button if you are subscribed, and subscribe if you're not already. And I very much so appreciate it, and I will see you guys in my next video.